All right. After this song play out, I'm gonna talk about some stuff real quick. How y'all doing? How y'all doing? Feel free to leave a comment in the chat so I know what's going on. I hear from y'all. Gonna start going live on YouTube. Yeah. I don't want to blast y'all out of here. That's telling me that it's loud. So I'm gonna stop that music in a little bit. This song is almost over. All right. So what's up, y'all? I'm here in the room, and I'm supposed to be talking about um why I use Maschine, why I use MPC, and uh, and why the S2400 is the GOAT of all machines. Of all the machines out there, man, I'm telling you, S2400, I love it. I just got on it yesterday, and I made a beat, and I didn't record it because I'm like, I want to be in the moment of not just always making content. So I wanted to uh happens. And what I did, the beat I made on there was crazy, crazy. I got through a verse, I got through a hook, and then I decided that okay, I needed to do something else. So hope y'all doing well out there. Trying to get my subscribers up. I'm trying to get my page to be monetized. So I can bring I'm gonna bring content whether I get monetized or not. That's neither here nor there. But I wanna, I wanna get some out of uploading content. Some of y'all know that I was heavy on Instagram. I was doing a lot of content on Instagram, and I was pushing a lot of stuff to TikTok and working with the group. And man, just I decided that if I'm gonna burn myself out and put my work out into the universe, I need to kind of work on my brand and work on myself. So decided to start putting some of that information, content, and videos and stuff that I was doing on YouTube because man, the algorithm, let's just be honest, man, the algorithm that we got on YouTube is so much better than the algorithm we got on Instagram. Let's just be honest about that. Um and so that's why I'm doing this going live on YouTube thing because I think that it's something that we should really have a conversation about. Um, so on Facebook in a lot of the forums, there's a lot of people fighting and fussing about which MPC is the best, why you should have the old historical MPCs versus why what the converters sound like in the new MPCs. And to be honest with you, I hear people talking about, oh, I use the old MPCs, but I never hear no music from those guys saying, oh, we use the old MPCs. Um, there's there's a few, but for the masters that talk a lot of shit, you don't hear no music from them. You go to their page, they have no videos on YouTube, they have no Instagram, they have only Facebook. And I'm convinced, as I was talking to my man Khalif yesterday, I said, bruh, like I believe a lot of people don't have internet. They have Facebook on their phone and they go on Facebook and they see what mess is happening in the world. And the mess is happening on YouTube. I mean, I'm sorry. The mess is happening on Facebook, and that's what they're tied into majority of the time. And so Yeah. So I want to get away from that. I want to get away from that. I want to get away from mess. I want to just get back to what I do. And what I do is I make music, man. I make beats. Make music. I make beats. I'm an engineer, prior service military. That's why I'm able to do this full time. And yeah, father, husband, all that. So I do a lot of stuff, wear a lot of hats. But see, I'm repping the El Jefe Switching Lanes album. It's in stores, in your Bandcamp app right now. Go get that El Jefe Entertainment at bandcamp.com. And that might be El Jefe Entertainment, El Jefe ENT at bandcamp.com. I believe that's what that is. Don't quote me on that. But the easiest way to do it is go to Bandcamp, type in Bandcamp, go to Bandcamp, and then in the search bar, type in LEFE, and you'll be able to find all the albums that we put out. Um, all the albums are over there. I executive produced the El Jefe mixtape uh, solely by myself. My man Wugga got some production on that album as well. And then we came back with another project, and then we came out with the production team where myself, Wugga, and Mo, we produced something on all the albums that you get out there. So you got El Jefe Entertainment LLC, then you got the individual artists that are individual entities such as Heaven, El Jefe, Guada El Jefe, and Jetta El Jefe. And then you got BeatsbyLonza, and you can find my music out there for that. Then you got Wugga, uh, Beats, BEATZ underscore by underscore Wugga, WUGA. So you can find Wugga out there as well. So that's how that rocks. But yeah, man, we got so many albums out there. We got so much work on Bandcamp because we decided to miss the middleman. Stop going to Spotify. Stop going to these streaming platforms that's not going to pay you for anything. So that's how we did that. We straight out the trunk. The thing I like about Bandcamp is that you pay them a percentage, but it's a small percentage versus what you'll see from Spotify. Like we made um almost $2,000. I want to say $2,000 just off of straight out the trunk distribution through Bandcamp versus the most I made on streaming platforms has been like $10, and that's with 50,000 streams, I believe. $10 when I can just go straight to the source and I can get the $10 straight from the individual who's buying the album. Especially if I sell, you know, three albums, three copies of the album, that's, $10, $15 right there. So yeah. So y'all artists out there, we got to kind of get with the times and throw the middle finger up to these streaming platforms. Don't get me wrong, streaming platforms are okay for what they're for. Money, how much money are you spending each year or monthly to have a distribution account for streaming platform? For instance, DistroKid is $20 a year. $20 a year for DistroKid, right? And so by the time you get enough streaming, 0.0064 something cents per stream. By the time you get $1 in streams, you've promoted, you've had millions of people or thousands of people listen to your music out there on the streaming platform, and then you haven't made any money to even get back the money that you paid just for the streaming subscription for the month or the streaming subscription for the year. And that I'm talking about a semi-hot song or a semi-hot beat or whatever. Nothing that's like going worldwide nation viral. We're talking about songs that's going to go out to your friends and family and your group of people that is going to listen to your songs. Think about that for a second, right? So now you've went out there and you paid money for this equipment. And this is not a rant because we made the decision to buy equipment. We made a decision to become recording artists. We made a decision to go out here and make money via um, music, right? So no shade in that regard. Check it out. So you put money into investing into going into a studio to record a song. And then if you're savvy enough, you've invested into a computer and a microphone or invested into a phone or a tablet to record the music yourself. And now you've mixed and mastered, or you sent the music off to be mixed and mastered, which costs money. Let's say you mix and mastered yourself because you wanted to save some money by doing it yourself. Let's give it a number. Let's give it $50. So $50 to mix and master it, $20 through um, DistroKid or CD Baby or whatever platform you use to upload your music to a streaming platform. That's $70. Your computer may be $1,000, maybe $500, but tally that into the equation. Headphones, microphone, whatever you use to record your information or your music into the platform. Then you export it out. Now you got to come up with artwork. Now, if you're savvy enough, you can go out and find the apps to create your artwork. You can do it yourself. Or in the instance that you don't know how to create artwork, now you're gonna hire somebody to do your artwork for you. So that's more money out of your pocket. So by the time you go to the streaming platform and put your music out there on the streaming platform, and they're paying you 0.0006437 cents per stream, you're always in the hole. So with again, I'm not promoting that everybody use Bandcamp, but I am promoting that everybody use Bandcamp because at the same time, when you use Bandcamp, they're giving you your they're, what's going on, So100? That's my guy, man. Real love right there, man. Real love. Hey, this is my first time going live, so I'm just here doing my thing, just talking, man. So Bandcamp, they give you a percentage back. I believe they take 15%. And I think I'm right about that. I think they take 15%. So you sell an album for $5, you're getting 15% that's going to go to Bandcamp, and then the rest of it you're pocketing that money. And let me tell you the good thing about Bandcamp. And not only are you pocketing that money that's coming back to your account, it's going back to your account within 24 hours. Thank you, thank you, thank you. I'm glad it looks good and it sounds good. I've been here all morning trying to figure out why my sound wasn't going through, and I had music playing and stuff, and blah blah blah. But I appreciate you, man. Much love. Hey, listen, if y'all are producers and you have not tapped into So100 Brand for your expansions, you need to tap into So100 Brand. I have every So100 Brand expansion that's made and released to the public. I've had the honor and the privilege to go out there and beta test some of those expansions before they hit the market. And I'm indebted to my man So100 Big Six, man, because he allowed me to come and help him out. And what I'll tell you, if you don't have them expansions in your Serato, I know we don't use Serato, but you don't have those expansions in your MPC, you're missing out, my brother or my sisters. You are missing out. Those expansions put you in the mix, right? Let me talk about that real quick. Expansions. A lot of people go in trying to find the right sound, right? Bringing the sounds into your, you got to find the right kick. You got to find the right, you got to find the right clap. You got to find the right sound that you need. So when you got expansions, it is a quick and easy fix to bringing in a quick drum kit or a quick instrument sound so that you can get to work fast, right? And so if you have multiple expansions, now you're able to pull in, let's say, 4 expansions at one time, 5. Sky's the limit of how many expansions you can bring in. I believe it is 199, maybe 100 bring in uh, to your MPC, right? Bring in a program, then you load your expansion, and then your expansion goes into the slot. So now you're able to toggle between expansions and whatever sounds you may have put in a kit, right? You made a loop, 4-bar loop, put in your expansion, right? You got a sound, you like, maybe I don't like that sound. You're able to transfer in and out pads and sounds in the pads, and you're able to transfer in and out expansions. So now instead of freaking taking 30, 40 minutes to find your sounds that you want to have in your program, now you got the expansion with all your sounds in the expansion. Now, let's not even talk about how my man went through and sampled all these sounds from these high-end studios and sampled all these sounds from his studios and sampled all these sounds from his equipment. And now you're able to use those sounds at no extra cost to you because you've already paid for the expansion. They're affordable, they're cost effective, they are worry free. You don't have to worry about the expansion crashing or your MPC crashing or your MPC software crashing. Nah, when you load those expansions up, they're rocking. You're ready to rock. And with the push of a button, you're ready to get working. So I am all about housekeeping. I'm all about how fast I can get out here and make a beat, how fast I can get to work trying to toggle between finding a kit. Now, there's nothing wrong with finding kits. I actually applaud people that find kits, and you should be finding the sound that you want to have in your kit to make the sound your particular sound. So again, that's just a quick commercial for So100 Brand. That's my guy. I will forever, ever, ever, ever promote So100 Brand because I use it in my day to day. And so, yeah, man, yeah, do what you gotta do, man. The video, I'm gonna clip it my damn self. I appreciate you. And that's one of the guys, man, that is genius level. When I'm talking about making music, this dude is genius level. He don't just make expansions and sell expansions to the producer community. He make music. He teach classes. He go out in the community and uh, is in a wheelchair and he rolls through the city and he has his NPC with him live making beats and teaching people on the street. You know, he's showing presence in the street, showing you that, hey, I can make beats. This ain't stopping me from doing my thing. So yeah, shout out to So100, man. Great dude, man. I met him online through somewhere. I don't remember how exactly, but met him online and we've been kicking it for a number of years. And he's just been a solid brother that's, like I said, allowed me to help with his business, and he's helped me so much tremendously with my business, helped me with my podcast, helped me with my merch. And I don't have, that's crazy. That's a detriment to my merch that he printed for me. I had him print some merch for me, and my man came through all the way from his spot on the West Coast, did the merch for me, printed the merch out, sent the merch back to me to the East Coast in a timely manner, fast, got it to me. My audio's coming in and out. I don't know why that would be. My audio's coming in and out, but I'm gonna keep going. Probably my internet, more than likely, but that's crazy. And let me know if the audio still keeps coming in and out. It shouldn't be. It shouldn't be having much trouble with my internet. I may have to go to I may have to drop off and go to my personal hotspot on my phone. Let's do that. Let's see how that works. Okay. Hey, I just went back to my hotspot on my phone. Tell me if the internet connection is better now. And I'm not hot wired either, so I'm just using regular Wi-Fi. But let me know in the chat if my audio is good. I just went to my phone Wi-Fi, see if that's better than what was going on previously. But again, I'm probably gonna have to go back and say what I just said, So100. But if the internet allows me to say what I'm trying to say, you need to rock with So100 Brand. I cannot remember what the website is at the moment. I believe it's So100brand.com. You can correct me in the chat if I'm wrong on that. Maybe So100.com, but I believe it's So100brand.com. The Reaper, I appreciate you though. I appreciate you being here in the live. So100, I appreciate you being here in the live. Again, this is new territory for me, so I'm trying to figure this out. I am trying to figure it out. All right. Let's see. Yes, the internet, the picture quality went down. We heard most of what you were saying, though. Yes, the internet, the picture went down. Oh, that freaking sucks. Yeah, it's probably a lot. It's probably a lot of the workload for my phone. I got, you know what? I want to rant though too about freaking doggone iPhone. Now I've been with the iPhone since the 4G came out, right? The original iPhone. And they are killing me with the iPhone in the last freaking month. My iPhone has been dropping calls. My battery's been dying in the middle of the night. Like, and this is the freaking 15, 15 plus, 15 max plus. Shouldn't have did that. It shouldn't have did that already. So Apple, I'm telling you, if only freaking Samsung and all those freaking Windows phones got their shit together and had a better interface than what they got, I'd be over somewhere else. But I love my iPad, and I love the workflow. I love the workflow of the iPhone. So that's the only reason I won't get rid of my iPhone, because I got everything. I got Mac Studio, I got iPhone, I got freaking the Ultra. I'm Appled out. I got freaking everything Apple made. I pretty much got it or had it. So, but anyway, Apple is like falling down the freaking rabbit hole of getting on my nerves. But yeah, so back I'm gonna be all over the place. I got no script, so I'm gonna be here for a couple hours maybe. Same here, 4G though. Yeah, man, listen, we got 5G LTE, 5G and LTE wideband here, and I only get 2 bars at my house. And I am out away from the main intersection, main street into the city, and I get horrible reception. Looking into getting a cell phone that goes up in the air and it multiplies the signal for your cell phone. However, you got to go on the roof, and I got a 2-story house, and I ain't going on the roof of nobody. Says you have a lot of gear. How? Let's see. I can't see without that heart is in the way. How have you been producing? Hey, good question, Beat Buffet. So check it. The Beat Buffet. I appreciate your question. I do have a lot of equipment, and in the shop you can't see the equipment that I do have. But if you go to my YouTube page or you subscribe to my page, you'll see what all I have. I have a lot of MPC products. I have all the machine products. I have the S2400, Push 3, and a Push 2. So how I go about producing. So it's all about how I feel, right? When I wake up in the morning, I decided I'm gonna come to the studio. I determine when I walk through the door what it is I'm gonna work on for that day. I'm gonna switch back to my Wi-Fi. Walk in the studio door, I determine what I'm gonna work on today, what I feel like. So I may walk in and say, Akai Force looks good today. I'm gonna make some beats on the Akai Force. And or I walk in and say I'm gonna go to the Machine Key 61 because I feel like being on the keys. I started in 2001. Started out as an engineer. I was engineering and engine. That was my love. That was my passion. Um, their first time in the studio making songs, so that was my thing. I love to work with up and coming artists, and I was managing artists and engineering, and I wasn't producing at first. And then I decided that when the artists started coming in and saying, "Oh, I need to pull these beats off of YouTube," or "Hey, I got this beat that I wouldn't pay for," off of back then they'd send emails and they'd send like CDs and stuff. They say, samples of instrumental packs or whatever. And I decided that I probably should jump into this producing thing. And so I started out with the studio of using only software, Fruity Loops, and then I went from Fruity Loops to Reason. I went from Reason to Fruity Loops, Reason, and it's one more other one that I was using, Fruity Loops, Reason, um, and something else. I can't think on the top of my head. But anyway, I was in software. Anything that you can find out there software related, I was producing in it. And then I started looking at Machine or Machine, however you say it. And around 2013, I want to say 2013, I started using Machine products. And then everybody was saying, "Hey, you're not a real producer if you're not using MPCs." So I was like, "Oh, what's the talk about this MPC?" Man, I mean, I knew that in the '90s they were using MPCs, but I could never really like afford anything that the old MPCs that they had out there had. And And I knew that, you know, in the 90s, that equipment was old equipment. I wasn't gonna use floppy disk and all that shit. So I was like, my computer is so much faster. But I did bite the bullet. Uh, technically, technically, yeah, but it depends on the workflow. They all do the same thing, but it depends on the workflow, and that's another reason why I have different types of machines, because it depends on the workflow. I got to a point where I was so fast on a machine that it was stupid. But then I got my hands on the MPC. I got my hands on MPC Live, and I got my hands on MPC X, and it was over with for machine. I went a full at least year without touching machine. Once I got on the MPC, the new MPC, I went a whole year without touching machine. Yeah, MPC One Plus is a good entry level machine for MPC. I do have an MPC One at this moment just because I wanted to have a machine. And I wanted to have the MPC One to add to everything else that I got on the platform for Akai. I didn't need it. Actually, this is my second MPC One that I've owned in my lifetime. I bought it, didn't like it, sold it because I was like, oh, this is too entry level. I'll never use it. And then turned around like 3 years later and bought another one. And now I like it. Go figure. But anyway, yeah, so since 2001, I started producing late. 2001, I started producing, and my beats are nowhere near what my beats sound like right now when I started producing. Nowhere near. So Studio One, I like Studio One. I have Studio One on my Windows computer. It actually came with the computer when I bought it, because the computer is a recording studio computer that I got from Sweetwater in 2012, and it's still rocking. I think it's an i7. I don't remember how many cores, but that joint's still rocking. But I keep that Windows computer just in case, because, like I said previously, I am a Mac guy. I use MacBook and I use the Mac Studio, and there ain't nothing touching the Mac right now. Yes, Sweetwater is the shit, bro. And that was a gift. That was a gift from my wife. My wife, I hate to admit this, but I'm gonna admit it. My wife came in late in the game when I met her. We were married 12 years now. And that's when we met, and I switched over from cracked uh software. I was using Fruity Loops cracked software, and I was getting free samples, the cracked software samples from my mans who had a hard drive full of cracked VSTs and cracked sounds. And she came in and was like, why are you not investing in your craft? Why are you not spending the money into your craft? And I was like, because I don't really got the money like that. And she was like, okay, how much does the software cost? So I started doing research on how much the software costs. So I bought Fruity Loops lifetime subscription of Fruity Loops. So every time they come up with FL Studio with a new one, I can just upgrade. Reason, I paid for Reason lifetime subscription. And Cakewalk, I was using back in the day when Cakewalk first came out, 2001, 2002. I was using Cakewalk LE, and I bought the subscription, the lifetime subscription of Producer Edition of Cakewalk. And so I started investing in myself and got rid of all that freaking cracked software. And she helped me with that. Cool Edit Pro. I didn't use Cool Edit Pro, but I'm familiar with it. I know of it. Um, but yeah, Cool Edit Pro is right there. Cool Edit is right there with Cakewalk, and some very good software back in the days that came up with. And yeah, so that started my started my money, my funnel of money coming out of my pocket of buying software and investing in my craft. And once I started buying it and investing in the craft, I started to put more real time and energy and effort into my craft because now I'm spending money. Man, what you talking about? Cakewalk 8, man. Woo! Yes, I still got Cakewalk to this day. I know that they got bought out and they went over to they transferred over to Band Lab now. So now everything is now in the web-based browser and the app. But my Cakewalk still works. Like I said, I bought the lifetime subscription for it, so it stays updated. And if it ain't broke, don't fix it. But I'm not recording artists. Yamaha, not for me. No, the Yamaha brand. I don't think it's Cakewalk is Yamaha. I don't think so. Not sure. Not familiar. But yeah, I started investing in those softwares and I paid for them, and now I started to invest more time into my craft. And then I went into hardware, and then I went crazy. Once I got into hardware, I went crazy with hardware because once I got my hands on the first MPC, MPC Live and the MPC X, and they came out with the Live 2, I was like, Live 2 got a speaker. Live 2 is standalone. Live 2 got all the outs and ins on the back of it and USB. I can take it with me. Okay. Yeah. Cubase. I liked the way Cubase looked. I just didn't want to go into having another DAW. And so I stuck with Cakewalk because Cakewalk is what I use. And plus, like I said, once I moved from engineering and I went to producing 100% of the time, I had really no use for production in Cakewalk or engineering because I wasn't recording artists like that. So I kind of like retired almost from recording artists and I went straight to 100% producing. I had to also do a revamp because Zaytoven, because my name is so close to Zaytoven and we're so close in proximity as far as like he produced in Atlanta and I live in Atlanta. We're so close in proximity and we work with there's always going to be artists that work with the same people in Atlanta. I had to kind of rebrand myself. And so instead of going by Zay and Zay Productions, instead of going by that, because there's so many Zays, I had to kind of rebrand myself and I went by my first name. So everything went to Beats by Lonza, which is my first name, Lonza. So now I know that everything, if you're talking about Lonza, you're talking about me. There ain't too many Lonzas in the world. And the ones that are Lonzas out in the world, I know there's a female. Her name is Lonze. So yeah, it's all good. Steinberg parent company. Yeah, Steinberg said I just switched from Studio One back to Cubase. I hate getting used to it again. Love Studio One, but they can't get it right with the tiers and subscription. Bro, I just had a freaking rant the other day about subscriptions and tiers. Everything is on the subscription model based. Everything, everything. So yeah, I ain't gonna. I won't shit on any dog. I really won't shit on any dog because really and truly, once you stick to a dog and you learn it, you're able to be the best you can be in the dog that you're working in. Once you learn that dog in and out, you can pretty much work in any DAW, but you just got to spend time in it. Once you move from, let's say you move from Cakewalk to Cubase, yeah, there's gonna be a learning curve, but if you know the DAW and you know what each thing does in the DAW, it's kind of almost like You can figure it out, but you gotta spend time with it. Man, S2400 is a shit, bruh. It is a shit. And it's so simple. Like, you do have to read the manual. You do have to watch YouTube videos. You still got to put in the work. But once you figure out the basic things that you got to do for the S2400, it's gravy. I kind of got it down to a science on what I do. You still need a dongle for Cubase. The iLock, said I had to get a uploaded jam with it. He said I just uploaded a jam with it a couple days ago. I had to get a new SD card for it. My old one could not handle the latest firmware update. Oh yeah, bruh. Anybody in this freaking live is listening to me, I'll tell you, invest in good equipment. Don't always go for the shit that's cheap. You know, if it's gonna be a little pricey, you may have to go with the pricey shit. And also Google search what's the best SD card, or what's the best HD hard drive, what's the best blah 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 for whatever equipment that you're using. And 9 times out of 10, you'll see the consensus say, hey, I use SanDisk SD card. They never fail. And 9 times out of 10, you're gonna get some good information. But yeah, I use SanDisk SD cards for all my machines, and I have not had a problem with any SanDisk SD card that I bought and used. Oh, let me tell you something. You think 64 gigs is a lot for that SD card, bruh? Get you a freaking 250 gig SD card and call it a day. Because here's what you do: you take all of your sounds and samples and you move them to your SD card that you know that you're going to use on a steady basis. And anytime you get a freaking pack from Splice, or you get a pack from another producer, or whatever that you think that you're going to use all the time, you put that on your SD card for your 2400. And now at all times, you got all the sounds that you need on your SD card. And now you don't have to go to MSG mode to always go back to your computer to load sounds from your computer back to your S2400. Load everything that you need on your SD card with, when you got that big SD card. And now you call it a day. And now all you gotta do is load your sounds from your SD card and export your freaking MP3, your song, to your SD card when you're done. Load your projects to it when you're done, and be done with it. I'm telling you, 32 gigs is gonna run out fast. As soon as you start making beats and exporting and bringing sounds in and bringing sounds in and bringing sounds in, that shit gonna run out fast. And then you're gonna have to buy another SD card to offload. Well, you can do one or two things. You can do one or two things. Once your SD card gets full, you can offload that information from your SD card to a hard drive and keep it in the archive. But if that hard drive ever die, you assed out. But now what I'm forced to do is I have multiple hard drives. Yeah, I have multiple hard drives, and so I just keep double copies of my archives. Hey, to each his own. Hey, you do what feels good to you and what you feel like you can do. But I'm just talking to you from experience of buying the freaking 32 gig hard drive, 64 hard drive. I'll tell you, just for example, on the live one, the first SD card I bought was a 64 gig hard drive, and within 8 months, I filled up that hard drive. I'm sorry, I filled up that SD card in 8 months because I pulled all of my expansions at the time to the SD card, and before I put them to the hard drive, I put all the expansions on there, and I put all my projects on the SD card, and I put all my songs on the freaking hard on the SD card. And so by the time I got to 8 months of making freaking beats, by the time I got to 8 months, that 64 gig card was full of shit. And so I had to take the 64 card, SD card, bring it to my computer, transfer all the freaking programs and songs out of the freaking SD card, and then clear it out and then put it back in into the live one. And from that point on, I say, you know what? I'm getting the 256, the 500 gigs, and that way I don't have to worry about it until I get to 250 gigs worth of freaking music. Yeah. Another thing that I did too, also before I started putting stuff on my SD card, another thing I did was I got a USB stick, and what I did was I put everything that I'm ever gonna use as far as kits, that's my main kits, um, on this is a 32 gig USB stick. I put everything that I'm gonna use as far as kits on the USB stick, and I just took the USB stick with me to every machine, and so that way it didn't take up space on my SD card. So now on my SD card, all I have is the song and the project. So that kind of saved me some space as far as like keeping the kits on the SD card. So there's multiple ways you can do it. You can have an SD card, and you can have a freaking USB stick, or you can have the freaking hard drive that's already in it, but some machines don't have the hard drive in it, such as the MPC one. So when you're talking about how are you going to get your sounds into your MPC one, you got to use, you know, the one slot that you got for USB. You gotta determine what you're gonna do. If you're gonna use a USB hub so you can have multiple USB slots, or if you're gonna use your SD card, or if you're gonna plug in external hard drive, which that's another alternative that I use for the MPC one, is that I use a hub, and then I plug my external hard drive in it, and then you got an SD card, and so that kind of remedies the the problem of not having so many USB slots in the back of the MPC one. Yeah, having multiple MPCs, you're gonna move around, and you got to remember to have your sounds with you at whatever machine you're gonna use. And I kind of got it broken down to a science that I got all of my sounds on a hard drive. I got all of my expansions on the hard drive on whatever machine I'm using. I got everything that I need to have on my SD card. So at any given time when I'm ready to work, I ain't got to worry about where's the SD card, or where's the freaking USB stick. I don't have to worry about that because it's on every machine that I need to use, unless it's just a controller that's used for controller mode. And then I have those same files on my computer. It may sound like you're doing the same thing over and over and over again, but it works. So the Reaper said that's how it is with multiple MPCs. The newer ones at least say the project SSD, and then the SD to say to bring to another MPC, and hope you don't get confused on the older new save. Okay, so here's another thing that I'll tell you. Um, I never save my projects to the SSD card that I have installed inside my machine. And the reason that I do that is that because if at any given time, if by chance if I don't put in controller mode and transfer it off of the SSD to the archive, once my SSD gets full, and if I forgot about it for that particular time, if I forgot about it 50 times, my SSD is going to get full, and once it gets full, it's going to stop being able to save to it. And then I got to figure out where I left off of not saving those files to the archive. So that's the reason that I don't save projects and songs to the SSD, because now I have to go into controller mode and then open it up on my computer and then dump it. So here's another housekeeping thing that I do. Um, I try to make beats. I try to make beats in the machine that I use it in, right? And when I make the beat and I make the song, I try to make the complete version of it before I leave that machine. So when I leave that machine, I export the complete song out of that box. And then what I do is I take the SD card that's in the machine. Then I plug my dongle into my iPhone, and I transfer it from my iPhone to my archive. And that way, whatever beats I made for the year 2024 in my archive, I have the beats and the songs for 2024 in a folder, all labeled the beat name and the year. Hey, there's nothing wrong with overkill. I have overkill on everything, because I've learned that if you leave your external hard drive plugged up to your computer on an update, such as a Mac, uh, you leave it to the Mac, and you have it on automatic updates, and it goes into a freaking new operating. It goes to the new what is it called? OS. If it goes to a new OS and you go to a new operating system and it says that it's going to take 300 gigs of uh, it's going to take 300 gigs of your space to freaking update this new OS, and your computer runs out of space, it's going to go to the next hard drive that it finds that's hooked up to your computer. And guess what it's going to do? You guessed it. It's going to wipe your freaking hard drive out. And whatever you had saved on that hard drive that you left connected to that computer, you're gonna lose everything that's on that hard drive. Ask me how I know. Ask me how I know, because I had my studio running off of my MacBook Pro, and my MacBook Pro was only 500 gigs. And I used to leave my freaking externals plugged up to the freaking MacBook, and I'd leave the studio without ejecting the freaking hard drive. And one night, I had automatic updates installed on the freaking MacBook Pro, and I came in the next morning, and my computer was on the screen of death. And when I tried to open up my hard drive was dead as hell. And I couldn't figure out why my hard drive was dead as hell. And then I figured out that, oh shit, it updated automatic updates to my freaking to my computer, and because I didn't have enough space, it went to the next hard drive that was available. Yep. And so I lost everything on that hard drive. And luckily, again, like I said, I always have two functions of separation. So I always have another hard drive. And the only thing that saved me was that I had another hard drive somewhere that wasn't hooked up, and I just had to transfer all those projects. I'm sure that I lost some projects. I'm sure that I lost some MPC files somewhere in there. Um, but again, like I told y'all earlier, I always export the finished song into a folder on my computer somewhere that has all the all the beats for 2023, all the beats for 2022, all 2021 throughout any machine that I use. I have them in folders, and they're named by the name of the project, where I made it at, and the year. So let's say I named this beat live streaming. Let's say I made a beat. I name it live streaming. Let's say I made the beat on the MPC X. I name it live streaming X 24. And so if somebody says, "Man, I like that beat called live streaming," I know that I made that beat in 2024 and I made it on the X. And so if I ever have to go back to that file and they want to make changes to that file, I know that I can go to the MPCX, pull that file up, and I know what year I made it. And that's how I do my housekeeping as far as making my beats and exporting them out. So I got into the routine of making the beats at one time, knocking it out, exporting it out. So I never, ever, ever have to come back to it, because I found that if I make a half a beat and I say, oh, I'm going to come back and finish it later, I never finish it later. And then I make so many beats, by the time I remember that I forgot to go back on that machine and make that beat and finish out that beat, I forgot about it. And I never go back to it because I'm always on another machine. So I am going to put my, I never do this, but I'm gonna put this in here. I'm gonna put my Cash App in the chat. So if anybody want to support the channel, support the freaking support me in my YouTube. I'm trying to get monetized on YouTube. I've been working on it for the last year and a half of getting my YouTube monetized, and I am at the cusp of getting my YouTube monetized. I am about um, 10 subscribers away. Last I checked, I am 10 subscribers away from being able to monetize my page. That is my Cash App. If anybody want to donate, anything helps. You don't have to donate, but that is there just in case you feel generous enough to help a brother out. I don't really need it, but I am going to, use the avenues that's available to me to, you know, further my life, because this is what I do full time, 24 hours a day. This is what I do. And I'm lying, it ain't 24 hours a day, because I have to go and pick my kids up from school, and my wife has to get off from work. I got to make dinner and all that. So my wife is corporate America, so she helps facilitate my full-time working in the studio. I'm a retired Marine, retired vet. So I have my retirement coming in every month. So that pays the bills. Again, my wife works full time, so that helps pay the bills. And whatever beats that I sell and whatever production that I do, that helps pay the bills. So I'm trying to monetize my YouTube so I can pay the bills. I mean, everything helps, man. If you donate a dollar from 12 people helps get me some tea in the morning. So I appreciate it. So thank you. Appreciate everybody. Again, I haven't probably haven't said this. Thank you for everybody that's watching the live. Thank you for everybody that's commented. Thank you for everybody for all your input. Thank you for just spending time with my channel. This is my first time going live, so I'm just kind of rambling through, what I think I should talk about. So in the beginning of this video, I said I am talking about MPCs, why I prefer to use MPCs, why I prefer to use Maschine, and why the S2400 is the GOAT. That's probably why some of y'all are here, is to hear my take on why I think S2400 is the GOAT. All my beats are named by the date and tempo. Yeah, that is also a good rule of thumb, because if you are working with other producers and they want to collab, most times they're gonna want to know what the tempo is. But most producers kind of figure that out, or they get in the close beat range of what the beat BPM is. I haven't got to the point of uploading my beats to YouTube right now. And primary reason that I haven't loaded a lot of beats to YouTube as well is because I have my own website, and all of my beats go straight to my website, and that is BeatsbyLonza.com. I'll put that in the chat. I don't expect no producer to go to my page to look at beats, but I also have a entry level kit that I made for producer expansions for MPC. It's a brand. It's free. It's just for people to starting out. Just have a couple sounds in there if you just wanted to load the expansion up just to have some sounds. That's at my page, beatsbylonza.com. If you go to the page and scroll all the way to the bottom, you can download that kit for free. And yeah, at beatsbylonza.com, that's where I push all of my beats. So that's why I don't load them to YouTube, because they're on my website and I keep them for sale. I keep all my beats for sale on my website. And so that's how that works. I'm trying to create this funnel, man, where you can only, you can go to these different places to get content, but I want you to come to one singular place at the end of the day to kind of to get all the good stuff. You know what I'm saying? So so yeah, I appreciate each and every one of you for being here. And my page on YouTube is to help producers. Said, to be fair, I don't have beats. I just make jams live in my studio with hardware and upload those. Okay. Hey, whatever makes you happy and whatever floats your boat, you do you. You do you, my brother. Appreciate you, Hayes. 2400 is a beast. I still use my Live 2 because of ease of use of chopping. Oh, let me tell you some bass levels. The S2400 is a beast. But when I tell you that chopping is so simple across 8 pads on the S2400, it is so simple. Let me tell you how simple it is. I know you probably have the S2400, but let me tell you how easy it is and why I prefer S2400 for chopping, right? Um, let me tell you why I love chopping on an S2400, right? Let me tell you how easy it is. And just how I'm about to explain it is how easy it is to chop on the S2400, right? You got two ways. You sample in a sample from either your iPhone, or you sample in from a freaking turntable, right? You press a button that says sampling. You press, you tell it where you want to sample your input from, and you sample your sound, right? Or you sample from your iPhone. You sample your sound in, and you sample it to the pad. And as soon as you sample that to the pad, without having to do anything else, it you sample it directly into the S2400, right to the pad. Now, all you have to do is press multi-mode and uh loop mode. Shit, it's right here in front of me. Don't get me the line of what it's supposed to say. But hold on, stand by. All right. Multi-mode and loop slice. There's two buttons on the left of the S2400. After you put your sample on that pad, on that one pad, pad one, you have multi-mode and loop slice. And when you hit multi-mode and loop slice, it takes that sample and spreads it across 8 pads. And now all you have to do on each individual pad is edit your sample on each individual pad. And sometimes you don't even have to edit too much. It sometimes perfectly put those sample chops on 8 pads perfectly. You may have to go in and edit the start and end a little bit, but it's so simple. You just press that pad 2. Let's say you want to edit pad 2. Press pad 2. then you hit the button where you can edit your sample, and on the screen it pulls up your sample, and you just edit it, and then you chop, 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 boom, 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 record, boom, 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 to your tempo, and now you chop your freaking sample just that fast. Now, same shit with the freaking MPC. You sample it in, you pull it in across 16, and now instead of eight slices, now you got 16. Yeah, yeah, and you can sequence the slices. You can change the pitch up and down on each individual level, on each channel, on each pad, bro. I'm telling you, that shit is crazy. It's like it takes it takes the work out of 16 chops, and it takes you back to just being simple, where you don't have too much. It's just simple. You just go and you work with what you got. So once you chop that sample, now you just back out of out of the sample chop, and now you just go to your next you go to your next pad, because now you, after you took up those eight, once you back out, you're back to now that singular pad, and now you can go to either another group of uh, a group of samples where it's all drums, and then you can tap out, you can bang out your drums, or you can go to the next pad, or you can have a sample loop of a drum loop, and man, you in business. Just like that, bro. You got your beat done in S2400 in really no time. Now, I'll never give up MPC. Never ever ever give up MPC. The ease of chopping is so easy in the MPC that even a blind man could chop in an MPC. So I'll never give up chopping in MPC, but the 2400 is a different feeling when you chop it on the 2400. It's just different. And I know that when I get on the 2400, it's all going to be sample based chopped music when I go on the 2400. It's never going to be me doing any type of live recording, because it has live looping where you can live loop an instrument or another external MIDI um, equipment into it. So you can do all of that with it. And now they got the Kaladan coming in the next 2 months. So now you're able to have voice cards and different sounds and stuff that you can play the keyboard into it and record. So that's next level. I already ordered that, pre-ordered that, so I'm waiting for that. And yeah, but yeah, that's what I do on the S2400. It's all sample based chops, and appreciate you spending time with me on your lunch break. And I'm just here spazzing out about equipment and gear, just trying to get my, my thoughts out. But yeah, S2400 is a beast as far as chopping samples and making sample based music. But it's not limited to just making sample based chop music. You can make actual music on the S2400, but that's what I use it for. And then when I want to make music, when I want to play the keys, that's what I got the Key 61 for. When I want to make production that's based around, different elements of sound, that's what I got that for. Same thing with the Akai Force. When I want to make some songs, I go to the Akai Force in the 61. If I want to make R&B, I go to the Live 2. If I want to make hip hop, I go to the X. If I want to make some boom bap hip hop, I know that when I go to the X, I'm gonna make some boom bap hip hop. So I've kind of like made I made my machines into particular types of music that I like to make based off the machine. Um, Audio Dabbler, what's up, man? Thank you. Welcome to the live. He says, I love my Key 61. Have you had much success singing in 61 and the Force? I have not tried to sync the 61 and the Force. I have the Force on this side of the studio, and I have the 61 on the opposite side of the studio. So moving them back around. I did originally when I originally had the 61 into my studio. I had it right next to the Force, and I have not tried to sync it because I use them for two totally different things. So I think it's real overkill to have my 61 and my Force together because um, I have a separate keyboard for the Force, so I don't use it. I don't use it that way. Can it says then you can sequence something with slices, and when you change the pitch, when you play back magic, absolutely, absolutely. Straight magic. S2400 is something different, and that's what I wanted to talk about. What I want to talk about the 2400. Says 2400 is in a class of its own. Also picked up the Kaladan. I've sampled my original composition and pitched them into something else. Let me tell you something else about the S2400. Right, I've been doing a lot of research about the SP1200 because I never owned the SP1200. I came in the game late and I never used the SP1200. But all the hoopla and all the talk is about SP1200 and what it is and how it is the flagship of hardware. Right now, when I did my research on the SP1200, I thought that because they put an SD card on it, SD card on it, that I was going to be able to get unlimited sampling time. Just to come to find out a week ago, which is dumb of me, to find out a week ago that you still only get 20 seconds of sampling time on the SP1200 with the SD card. That is a load of crap. And on top of that, you still gotta export out 8 tracks, which is another load of crap. Now, with all this update in technology, they should have done just like Brad did with the freaking S2400. They should have had USB to audio export out from USB audio into whatever system that you plug your USB into. And you can still export your 8 outs. You can still plug in your 8 outs if you want to, or you can export out of the USB 8 outs from your USB. Next level, next level. And on top of that, as much space as you can put on an SD card, or as much space as you can have on your computer, which is a hard drive in itself, as much space as you can pull in, you are able to access that space from your S2400. So when you're talking about having a machine that mirrors all the insides of a SP1200, and it mirrors the sound and the converters and everything that the SP1200 has, and then you add in unlimited sampling time and unlimited freaking, you can export straight to the computer and you have access to your computer, whole level of its own. I'll speak the praises of the S2400 forever, unless for some reason they come up with a bug that crashes that joker and make it a brick. Which, knock on wood, I don't wish that on Brad. I don't wish that on ISLA Instruments. I don't wish that on the machine. But I've had it close to 3 years now. I believe 3 years. Yeah, for $4,000, and that's what I'm saying. I was saying like, hey man, this is a machine that I want to put in my studio to have just for the nostalgia's sake, and I'm gonna be putting this money away to spend the $4,000 on this machine, and you telling me that I still got to work with 20 seconds? I get I get the nostalgia and the original true intent of the 1980s feel and the 1990s feel of being able to work with 20 seconds. I ain't got time for that, bro. I want all the time that I can get. Give me the option to have 20 seconds if I want. Give me the option to have 30 seconds if I want. Give me the option to have 40 seconds if I want. Give me the option to have a full song if I want. And if I want to take in and make it 45 RPM and make it fast, chipmunk version, and get as much of the remnants in and then slow it down, cool. Don't do me like that. So that got me off of that got me off of the SP1200. I'm like, guess what? I got the S2400, which is in the league of its own, and they made it upgradable, right? You got the Kaladan coming out, you got voice cards coming out, you got the freaking VST cards that they coming out with that's in production right now. Make it make sense. Make it make sense to me. And the sound is there. From what I'm hearing, the sound is there. The sound is the same exact duplicate of the SP1200. And that's what, if you've been following the S2400, Brad has said that that is part of how they came up with making it, that they want to make it as close to original SP1200 as possible, but with his own flavor, his own look, and his own idea and thoughts of how to make it better, which is really what a company should do, right? They should go in with the intent of how can I take the previous thing that I made and make it better for the masses. Hey, listen, as soon as they dropped the freaking pre-order for the Kaladan, I already knew what time it was because I did the same thing with S2400. When they did the pre-order and they said, hey, this pre-order price is going to be $900 and the price is going to go up once we go into production, I'm like, $900 divided by 12 months is less than $100 a month. I spent $100 to go out and eat a week. The proper voice cards would be one voice or two voice. Oh man, I can't tell you off the top of my head. I did see that the Parva voice cards. You know what? I tell you what, Hayes. If you go to Island Instruments, if you go to islandinstruments.com to Brad's to the Island Instruments page, they have they have the equipment page where you click on like the Caladan. If you go down to the bottom, it'll tell you on the voice cards. I believe it's either on the actual page or it's in the forum. No. It says it. I'm 100% sure I've seen it. It says how many voices that they have on that original voice card that they're coming out with. And then it also says that they are in the talks of coming up with a developer to see if they're going to add more voice cards with it. But they do have a minimum amount of voice cards that card come with already. Yeah, they haven't determined how many they're going to go up to, but they do have a minimum amount of voices that's already coming out with that card because the card is already made. Yeah, and he said that they are going to figure out how to make it even smaller, make the component even smaller to fit more voices on there. But I did see it somewhere. I'm gonna go find it. Yeah, yeah. He's trying to not trying to oversell what he's trying to do, because if he comes out and saying I'm gonna have 12 voices on this card, these motherfuckers is gonna hold him accountable that you said that you were gonna put 12 voices on the card, and I only got 6 voices on the card, and 6 voices ain't enough. So yeah, he's trying to make sure that he's able to do it, that he's capable of doing it, and that he can make it happen to put across the board for the masses. Let me find it real quick. Let me see if I can pull it up because I've seen it. I got to make a quick text real quick. Uh, it is actually lunchtime, so it says there's no reason for a 303 to ever be. I can't see what that says for a terabyte 30 TBT 303 to ever be more than one voice. Yeah, you know what? I am not a guru on those cars and what those devices actually do because I never used it, but I bought it just on the fact that Brad said that they're going to be able to expand the S2400 out with with the Kaladan, and they're able to expand the Kaladan out even further from the 2400. I was already sold. I don't give a shit. I don't give a shit what that thing do. You can make a call on the cell phone with it. I don't care. Yes, yes, and that's another thing, that equipment right now. If you go out and look at the SP1200, they're talking about $7,000 for the original SP1200. I've seen them up from 7,000 to even $9,000 on the SP1200. Did you buy the case for the 2400? It's awesome. I would get one for the Kaladan too and get some foam and make it fit. Yes, I did. I did buy the case for the S2400, and I'll tell you, I'm probably never going to use the case. Actually, you can, if you look over there in the corner right there, you can see the case. It has two stickers on it. Hold on, let me pull the case out. That's the case right there for the S2400. In it, and look, this is like what we use in the military case. And in the inside, it has foam. It has foam on the inside, so you can kind of do what you need to do with it. So if you ever have to pack it out, it has foam on it. It has locks. It has two locks. You can put a lock on it. But I figured that if I ever carry this anywhere, if I carry it anywhere, people are gonna know that this is the S2400 in this box. And I'm weary about getting on the plane with my shit. Plus, I don't get on the plane and fly nowhere where I'm gonna use my S2400 anywhere anyway. I wouldn't take it to nobody's studio. All right, so yeah, I do got a case for the 2400. Um, yeah, probably would be good to have a case for the Kaladan, but I'm probably not. It's everything I buy is gonna stay in my studio. Um, better to have it and not need it than to need it and not have. Yep, that's why I got so much shit. Yeah, I can't agree with you, base levels, and say that I stopped buying gear. But I tried to stop buying gear. But as soon as I tried to stop buying gear, I started getting deals everywhere. I'm talking about deals, 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 half the price off a gear. And I was like, okay, if they go to my prize number, guess what? I'm gonna buy it. Yeah, so yeah, I did buy the Kaladan, and I got two DSP cards. Or I got the yeah. Or I got the Kaladan that comes with two cards. And I'm probably, if I like what it does when I get it and I realize that I need more than two cards, I'll go back and I'll buy more cards. But for right now, I want to see what I'm gonna do with it first, because I don't even know how I don't even know how to use it, and I'm not ashamed to say I don't know how to use it or what I'm gonna use it for. Uh, but I saw that he plugged the keyboard in it, and he got more sounds in it. So that's what I want. Even if I just got a freaking sample sounds from it to use in another machine. Um, that's what I'm gonna do. So, well, the synths do you have? I don't have that many synths. I have all drum machines. Everything I got is all drum machines and controllers. Closest thing I got to a synth is gonna be probably the MPC. The MPC 5000 got some synths in it. That's the closest thing I got to having some synth hardware. Other than that, I haven't even listen. The synth world is a whole total different world of beat making and music making. That's a whole nother world. It's a whole nother world that I don't even think that I want to venture into, because right now my studio is full. This is just the right. I'm pointing to the left. This is just the right side of my studio. That ain't even counting everything I got on the other side of my studio. And this studio is probably 500 feet. This is an in-law suite. It's probably 500 square foot. So take it, take with it with what you will. I got my DJ equipment on the far closest to the door. I got a drum kit. I got I got a closet that I converted into a makeshift recording booth. Then I got a recording booth tent, which takes up a whole bunch of space. And then I got my NPCs. There's a question that somebody asked about NPCs somewhere that I didn't answer. Um, but thank you for your questions, man. I I like that y'all engaged and asking questions and leaving your comments. So yeah, pin message. All right, Kaladan was made for you. Then I think you're gonna love it. Yeah, I think I'm gonna like it too. I think I'm gonna like it too, because I like to, I like to bang out stuff on the keyboard, and I like I said earlier, I use a lot of expansions. Shout out to my man So100, So100 Brand. If y'all not using So100 Brand, look at that. I didn't even see you was gonna comment, and I thought about you. Uh, and I thought about you. So100 Brand expansions, man. That's my guy. Get some bread and butter cents. I got the Hydra Synth 2500 and Model D. Got analog and digital cover. Hey, man, salute to you. Salute to you, base levels. Listen, I dare you all. I dare you all to go to the synth side of YouTube. Go to the synth side of YouTube where they're making freaking noise, and you plugging in freaking what's the shit? You're plugging in damn what the thing's called. Damn, my brain is not working right now. Where you plugging in the thing where you plug in your synths at. Just go to a corner of YouTube where they're using synths, and you'll see that's a whole nother world. And it's a whole nother pot of money that I ain't digging into. My wife asked me one day, she said, how much yeah, I can't wrap my mind around the sense just yet, and I don't want to wrap my mind around it. because that's a whole nother side of money that I ain't into just yet. My wife asked me at one point, well, how much do you think that you've invested in your studio over time? And I said, man, over 20 years, 20 years easily I've spent 80,000 in my studio. And let me tell you why I've invested 80,000, maybe $100,000 into my studio. This is my 12th studio that I built. 12. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. I know y'all can count. 12th studio that I built in my lifetime. And that's because I was prior service military. And while I was active duty, every time I moved into a new house or every time I went to a new duty station, I built a new studio. Or I took my new studio every time I moved into a new house or I moved into a new crib or whatever. And so every time I moved, I made my studio brand new again. I updated, I put glass doors in one time. One house, my last house that I got when I retired, my wife gave me the studio, so I had 14. I had 1,200. I had 1,200 square feet of studio space. I had 1,200 square feet of studio space in the basement. And she gave me the whole entire studio gave me the entire basement to make my studio. And so to build out the studio, because my studio, the basement was unfinished, I had to pay somebody to come in and build out the basement to make it a studio. So I put speakers in the walls. I put foam on the walls. I had wood sides for the. I had wood. What is it called? Not paneling, but the stuff that you put on your wood floor. I had wood. I went and met this dude, and he didn't finish his floors, so he had like overage of wood that he used for his floors, like real oak wood for $100. I got like a truckload of freaking wood. And when they built my studio, I had them put those wood plates, those oak wood, into the walls of that studio booth to kind of deaden the booth. And I had a real live recording booth. So I had to pay somebody, you know, um, it ended up being 30, 40 bands to fix my studio. And I mean, that's talking about they had to come in and take the studio space that was concrete. They had to come in and do the walls. I forget what that's called when you do the framing. They had to come in and frame the walls. I had drew up my specifics of what I want to have. To put my speakers in the wall, they had to cut out holes in the walls. Um, then I had the microphone cables and stuff running through the walls. So before they had put up the freaking walls, I had wires running through the walls. And but anyway, again, that was $40,000 that I spent in making the basement studio. And I thought the reason I did that is because I thought that was going to be my last house that I was going to own. And 3 years later, we decided to sell that house and move into the house that we have now, which doesn't have a basement, but it had an in-law suite. So my wife gave me the in-law suite, and I built it into a studio. And so um, that money that I put into that studio went into the sale of that house, which went into the buying of this new house. So yeah, that bumped up my my cost of studio building to well over $100,000. And that's just in stuff that you have to invest into building your studio spaces. So back to yeah, 80,000, because over the years you gotta think of what I started out with. I started out with in 2001. I started out with I lived in a three bedroom apartment, or No, originally it was a two bedroom apartment because I didn't have kids at that time, and so I just had a laptop and a speaker, uh, a mic stand, and a mixer and a computer. And then once I moved out of that apartment and I got a house, we moved into a three-bedroom house that I was renting. And so now I converted that bedroom into a studio. And so I got more equipment. And then when I moved to the next duty station and I got a house again, I made that bedroom into a studio. And every time I moved, I made every room that always got an extra bedroom, and I made that bedroom into a studio. And so up until my kids got bigger, and then we got bigger houses, and then we got, every kid had their own room. Um, some houses, the kids bunked up. Like I put my two boys, I put them in bunk beds and gave them their own room, and my gave them a room where they bunked together, and then my daughter had her own room, and then I had an extra bedroom. And then when I updated and I bought my retirement home, we had 6 bedrooms. We had 6 bedrooms. So in that house, I also took one of the bedrooms and made a studio. Yeah, I'll be on Reverb too. I'm off of Reverb now because now, again, the two things that I said previously that I had that I wanted was the SP1200 and a Maschine Plus. Those are the two things that I wanted to round out my studio, and I just got the Maschine Plus for the low, almost $600-700 off the price of the Maschine Plus. So I got that, and now I've been doing more research on the SP1200. I'm like, nah, I don't even need the SP1200. So now, unless somebody gift me an SP1200, I won't have one coming into my studio. I won't pay $4,000 for that machine. Hey, thank you for your service based levels. I don't knock any other branch of service because we out there doing the same. We're out there doing the same job. May not be the same job, but we out there doing the same job, working for the same folks. So salute to you. Thank you. Yeah, like I said, yeah, I'm prior service Marine Corps, and I'm retired. Uh hey, let me tell y'all this. This is what I need to tell you. Okay. So listen, for you, if you are a producer looking for a six MPC one you looking for six MPC ones for my students. Oh man, my man So100 Brand, So100 is on some other shit. He trying to have an institution to teach students on the freaking MPC with MPC ones. Hey, I'll tell you right now. I said this previously. I got two things to tell y'all that are jewels that I think you should know. The MPC ones, the prices on the MPC ones that are used, people are selling them for the low, and they're gonna keep selling them for the low because every time MPC Akai come out with a new piece of equipment, they're gonna sell those MPC ones to get that new equipment because MPC ones are entry level, and they're gonna jump off the ship of the MPC one and go to the Live 2 or the Key 37 or the MPC X or whatever other flagship that they got out there. So the MPC one prices are gonna go down. So just stand by. Go on eBay, go on Reverb, go on freaking these other places, that Facebook Marketplace, and you'll find the deals on brand new MPC ones and any other MPC equipment that, dog, I got my MPC one for $340. This is the second one that I got for under $400. This is the second one that I got for under $400. So I'm telling you, they out there. And so there's people, I'll be watching the forums. There's people that's out there that's like, oh, I just save all of my information to the internal. And when there's thousands of people telling you And I've been saying it for the life of me, don't save to the internal of your MPC because it's going to crash out. Once you finish those 2 freaking gigs of freaking internal memory space that you got on the freaking um, on the MPC one or the 4 gigs or whatever it is, once you crash them out using the plugins and saving all your projects to it, you're going to crash out your MPC one, and it's going to be hell to, you're going to have to go in and delete all the files off of the internal. And that's why a lot of people have problems with their machines is because, namely, they're saving all their files to the internal of these machines. Hell yeah, that's hella cheap. But the people that's buying them are not real gear enthusiasts. They're people that's coming in that wants to make a beat real fast, make a beat real cheap. They think that they can make a beat coming from, whatever they're coming from, and they're not in it for the long haul. So you're going to level up from those people that are coming in to buy these equipments for cheap. Now, here's what I want to tell you. Make your production a company. Make your production an LLC. If you're selling beats, make your company into an LLC. And what you do is that once you make your company into an LLC, now you can write off the expenses that you have when you buy equipment. So when you spend $10,000 a year buying equipment, you can write that off to the federal government. And this is not no scamming shit. This is real shit because it's a business. You are selling beats to a consumer. You are selling your information, your YouTube content. You're selling your Facebook. You're selling your IG to a consumer. You're selling. If you make a website for your business, you can write that off to your LLC. Whatever it costs to build your website, you can write that off under your LLC. And guess what? When you file your taxes at the end of the year, you get that money back. I don't mean to scream, but you get half of that money. You get 1% of that money back. So let's say you spent $10,000 on equipment. Guess what? At the end of the year, if you didn't make tens of thousands of dollars from making money from your business, you're going to get half of that money back in your taxes. Now, let me give you another level of that. Because you're making beats in your house, you're able to write off you're able to write off the insurance that you pay on your house, a portion of your insurance. You're able to write off a portion of your light bill. You're able to write off a portion of your furniture bill because you're buying furniture to sit on, to use in your studio. You're able to write off half of your internet because you're using your internet to go on live like we're live now. You're using your phone to reach out to your consumers. You're using your phone to post to YouTube, to post to Instagram, to post to Twitter. You're using your internet. You get what I'm saying? It never stops. You're able to write off a portion of whatever it is you use for your business. If you go out and meet somebody, you're using gas to drive your personal vehicle, which you use your vehicle as your business vehicle to go out to take somebody to eat, to take a meeting. You're using gas. You get to write off a portion of your business to your LLC. Here's the last bit of sauce I'll tell you. When you go to create your LLC, it's going to cost you a little bit of money, maybe $150, $200, depending on what part of the world you live in. Now, yeah, I do need to make a video on it. Everywhere that I'm posted, I say all the time, and it falls on deaf ears. But for you all who are here for this live, you'll be able to catch the replay, and I'm gonna clip this joint up, so you'll be able to see it on other my other social media platforms, which I'm out there at BeatsbyLonza on everything. Google me, BeatsbyLonza. Google me. You'll find 5 pages of BeatsbyLonza before it goes empty. I used to preach this in the Marine Corps when I was in the Marine Corps. I used to say the Marine Corps is going to use you for everything. I used to tell my Marines this. The Marine Corps is going to use you for everything they can use you for. They're going to use your brain. They're going to use your body. They're going to use your resources. They're going to use your everything that you got for everything that they need. And when it's time for them to say, we no longer need your service, they're going to tell you bye. And if you have not used the Marine Corps for everything that the Marine Corps can give you for free, then you have done yourself an injustice. The Marine Corps allow you to go to school for free, right? You don't have to use your MGI bill. You don't have to use anything. You just enroll for your courses, and they will send you to school for free, to whatever school you want to go to for free. You just got to do the due diligence, right? So I told all of my Marines, you need to enroll in college. Go take some college courses. Even if you don't finish the college courses, you will be that much far ahead in 4 years, 2 years, 1 year, 2 years than not going to school at all, and then get out after 4 years and have to use your MGI bill. Because when you get out, you're going to have to still pay bills unless you got a sugar mama or a sugar daddy or a sugar grandma. You're going to have to still pay bills. So instead of using your GI Bill when you get out, use your GI Bill. You know, I can't remember what it was, but you get the free college joint. Use it while you're in. And then when you get out, if you by chance didn't finish your degree and you got 6 months left or a year left on your degree, you go to school for a year and use that money from the GI Bill to go to school and get your degree while you're out. I worked for the last 4 years before I retired. I worked for the last 4 years on my bachelor's degree, and I had 4 classes left once I retired. So when I retired, did my 4 classes, got my bachelor's degree, enrolled into the master's degree. Did 2 years on my master's degree using the GI Bill, graduated, got my master's degree, got a job, and then I still got 17 and a half months left of GI Bill left that I can transfer to my kids to go to school. Now my kid is about to graduate high school right now, has a full ride to get an associate's degree using my GI Bill with what I got left. Full ride. So on my camera about to go crazy because I did some motion and I don't know how to cut the motion off. So my kid can go to college full ride off of my GI Bill. And I got 2 degrees out of that. But back to using what you got, because the world is not gonna do anything for you. You got to step out there and do it yourself. So I'm telling you, create your business today. And even if you only make $1 in making beats, you can still write off half of your business to your business at the end of the year when you do your taxes. You ain't got to take my word for it. There's people out there that's done it. As much as people hate Donald Trump, and I don't like him, he's used the loopholes in the law to make it work for him. So why can't we do the same thing? I mean, you're not cheating the system. You're doing exactly what the system is designed for it to do. So use the system. So yeah, make your LLC. And because you make your business an LLC, now you're legitimate. Now when you're talking to somebody about, hey, I'm a producer, now you are a legitimate business that you can present a sheet of paper to that says, I have my business. This is what I do. Now people will invest. Let me stop moving my hands. I don't know how to cut that off my freaking camera. Now people will invest into your business because now you are a no shit business. Oh, yeah, I got to just cut the tracking off. All right, so yeah, people will invest into your business because you have a business. You can show paperwork that you have a legitimate business. Because the first thing I'll tell you, real talk, when you're talking to people about production and that you produce music, they want to know your catalog, who you produce for, what songs you got on the charts, what songs you got on Spotify, what songs you got on Apple Music. They want to know who you did music for. So yeah, you need to do that. You need to invest in yourself. Always invest in yourself and count on you. You can't count on nobody else. You can count on you. So put your money on you. Put your money on you. If I'm gonna dang roll the dice on anybody, I'm gonna roll the dice on me. So I know what I can do. Not to be humble, not to sound like I'm not humble and that I'm this and that, but I know what I'm capable of. So I gotta put my money on me. Hey, I appreciate you, man. Thank you, thank you, thank you. Yeah, I'm probably gonna get off here in probably the next 30, 40 minutes. I gotta eat some lunch. I've been talking for 2 hours and I hadn't drank no water and then yeah, hey, congratulations, Hayes. Hey, that degree, without that degree, man, you can't do much in the world. You can't do much in the world without the degree. You can, but just in Georgia alone, I'll tell you this, just in Georgia alone, in order to freaking make $60,000 to $80,000, $60,000 to $80,000, that ain't no money. $60,000 to $80,000, you need a master's degree. They want you to come in the door with a bachelor's degree, but it's preferred that you have 2 years of extra college just to come in and do salary $60,000 to $80,000 a year. You need a master's degree. They won't even talk to you. They won't even answer your resume inquiry. That when you submit your resume for a job, they won't even answer you back without those minimum requirements. And let me tell you how heartbreaking it is to have 20 years of military service. 20 years of military service. In my particular job, I was supplying logistics. I have 20 years of military experience in logistics, right? Logistics, supply, manufacturing, warehousing, logistics, 20 years. Then I came out with a bachelor's degree and a master's degree. I probably went on hundreds of interviews, and I take that back. I submitted for thousands of jobs. I probably heard from maybe 50, and I probably went on 10 interviews. And I'm talking about I'm charismatic. I can talk myself out of a paper bag. I can sell myself on what I can bring to the table. And you know what they told me? You either overqualified, underqualified because you don't have any civilian experience, or we know that you're going to take this job for a year and you're going to move on somewhere else where they're going to offer you $100,000. Talking about a hurt soul, talking about hit you in the heart that you can't get a job with a master's degree, a bachelor's degree, and 20 years of experience in logistics. I can get a logistics job at a distribution center for shit to save my life. And then I did. The Lord blessed me with a job. I got a job with a forklift company that I was a parts manager for uh, a forklift company, and they paid me 70 or $80,000. I think it was a year. And so here's the wild part, right? I didn't need that. I didn't need that job, and I didn't need that money. That was the blessing in it, because as I said earlier, not to brag, my wife works in corporate America, and I have a retirement, and I have VA compensation. So that helped me hold hold the line, so to speak. But because of my mentally, because I've worked since I've been 14 years old, I'll take it back. I've worked since I've been 12 years old, because I've always had a job since I was 12 all the way up to, in my 40s. I thought that I needed a job. I had to work. And so I went and got a job. I drove myself crazy trying to get a job. And then when I finally got the job, you know, I I I I burnt myself out. And so, because everything I do, I give it 100. So with that job, I was still producing full time. And I asked my wife one day, I was like, you know what? I'm tired of this job. It's not everything that I wanted it to be. But do I really need to kill myself at this job uh, to just go work for somebody else when I can just work for myself? And she was like, nah, I didn't want you to go work in the first place. Bring your ass home. Come and support me at home, and you can do whatever you need to do. So I came home, and I put my time in being a full time producer. So when I wake up and get the kids to school, I'm full time producing, and I put myself on a 9 to 5. So every day I'm on a 9 to 5. From 9, I try to get in the studio, make some music, do some content, and take lunch break on lunchtime. And by 5 o'clock, I try to be out of the studio. Everything done by 5 o'clock, because that's all my kids are home by 5 o'clock. So I have to go pick kids up and do dinner, and make sure that they go to the places they need to go to. So yeah. But yeah, and that ain't for everybody. Everybody is not gonna run into that problem. I can tell you there's a couple things that probably went into the reasoning of me not getting a lot of jobs. I don't have a common name. So when you look at my name, it doesn't look like I'm white. It doesn't look like it doesn't look like it looks like I'm ethnic. It looks like I'm either African, or it looks like I'm from another place. And so, believe it or not, people look into that. They look at what region you're from, and what your name looks like. If I would have been Chris Ivy, or Mike Ivy, or Mike uh, Richards, I probably would have got more uh, interviews or callbacks based off of but once you get on the phone and they hear that they hear that you speak a certain way, or you are you are something. There's a lot of people that will turn you away, because they have a preconceived notion of who you are already out the door. And coming in, that I came from the Marine Corps, that's another preconceived notion that they have of you, of the job that you did and the job that you do, and how you're going to come in and make this company, you know what you're going to do when you come into this company. I'm a disruptor. I come in, I see some shit ain't right. I'm gonna say the shit ain't right. I come in, I see that you treating my people wrong. I'm gonna speak up that, hey, there's a different way to do this. Uh, They don't want to feel wrong saying it wrong. When I can't see what that says. They don't want to feel wrong. Wrong. They don't want to real. They don't want to feel wrong for saying it wrong too. Oh yeah, it's levels to this shit, bro. It's a lot of, you know, it is what it is. You know what I'm saying? But guess what? At the end of the day, bills got to get paid. You got to do what you got to do. If I could have worked at McDonald's, I would have worked at McDonald's for $12 an hour if I needed to feed my family. I would have picked up dog shit on the side of the road every day if that's what I need to do to feed my family. Somebody would have hired me. I would have went in and begged somebody for a minimum wage job if that's how I needed to feed my family. But that wasn't the case. So I didn't have to go for those lower wages jobs. Nothing to anybody that's blue collar that has to work those jobs. This is not a slight to anybody that has to work those jobs. I'm just saying, for me personally, um, the bang for the buck for my household, and for me to go out there and work 8 hours, 40 hours a week for somebody to bring money home to my wife, who works corporate America, that makes a certain amount of money. The bang don't match the buck if I ain't out there making 80 to $100,000 a year on a job. It just don't do it, because I'm going to burn that up in gas. I'm going to burn that out in hours that I need to spend time with my family too, and that wouldn't have worked for my family dynamic. So plus 20 years of work experience, I don't think I need to go out there and flip no fries for a 17-year-old, 24-year-old manager. I don't think I need to do that. Now I might be talking some shit, but yeah, I don't think I want to do that. That is the chip that is on my shoulder. That I don't think that I need to do that. Would I have done it? Hell yeah. But in reality, is that what I would have wanted to go for? Then I wouldn't have wanted to do that. So that's real talk. Um, I do a lot of shit, man. I got podcasts, I produce, I engineer. What else I do? I DJ. I'm a full-time dad, full-time husband. So take it with what you will of how you have to, juggle those jobs. Got to figure it out. And I'll tell you, that's where my bread and butter. Originally, when I built my business, when I built my LLC was built around DJing, my DJ business, because I was making some money on the DJ business. But then it's seasonal. Once you get into the wintertime, the summer parties die out. You have fall parties and stuff like that, and birthday parties, but that's birthday parties and weddings and stuff. So there I had a season where there wasn't a lot of work for DJing, and then I just have my repeat customers that I had that come back to me that I have. So my LLC was built around my DJ business, and I was spending a little bit of money on my DJ equipment, so I wanted to find a way to write that off, and yeah, that's how that happened. And then I added on not only my DJ business but my production business. So then my website, I hired a website builder, which is my niece. That's what she does for a living. She builds websites, and so I hired her to build my website and gave her access. Gave her access to my beat folder that I keep on my computer. She has access to it, and she can go in and upload any beat that's in my folder, and she uploaded directly uh to my website. All right, I'll right now. Ask y'all for any questions y'all may have before I get out of here. Again, I appreciate each and every one of you that have stuck through the live, that have asked questions, that have taken time off of your lunch break to come hang out with me. I appreciate it. And we're gonna do this. We're gonna do this a lot. I'm gonna do this where I get in front of the camera because shout out to my man Khalif at Khalif Wins. He told me that, Zay, you don't get in front of the camera enough, and people need to see you in front of the camera because you have a lot of information that you can pass on. And so I want to get in front of the camera and kind of just pass on what I know and tell y'all, what I got. So any last questions y'all got, hit me in the chat because I got to pee real bad and I need to go eat lunch. Y'all have a great day and thank you for coming on. Mix and master. I mix and master in the box. I mix as I go. And then if I do export it out, I use GarageBand and I use Logic. And what I do is when I pull them into the DAW, I'm able to put VSTs and stuff on the tracks, on the masters, and I can mix and master that way. But yeah, pretty much before it leaves out the box, it is pretty much mixed as much as I can mix it on the go as I can. I put some mastering um, plugins on the outputs on the MPC, and I shoot them out that way. But most of the time, I don't have to do that. I don't even have to put them in. I don't even have to send it out that way. But you're able to do that. You're able to put it on the sends, put it on the bus tracks, and send it out with those plugins and effects already on the master track. But when I do mix and master, it's really for me recording myself personally. And I record in BandLab on my phone, which is, like we talked about earlier, Cakewalk was my bread and butter. So I'm familiar with Cakewalk. So I'm really familiar with BandLab, and BandLab with just the headphone is so. I mean, it is incredible. On the fly recording, mixing, mastering in on the spot, and yeah. From there, I just export the stems out, bring them into GarageBand or Logic, but most times it's GarageBand. I throw a freaking plug-in on the master track and find one that sounds good, and voila, song done. So yeah, that's that. Top 4 plugins on the MPC output. All right, so you gotta have a compressor. I'm not gonna tell you which compressor to use, but I'll tell you what you should have. You should have some type of limiter on your drums. You should have a compressor. You should have limiter, compressor. There's 4 things you should have: limiter, compressor. Um, you may want something that's gonna maximize, like maybe you may want to maximize your drum. So sometimes you want to have a maximizer on it, but that may make it too loud. So you have to mix to your taste, and then pick something. Once you got those 3, pick something that sounds good in the effects box and listen to it. And if it makes your mix sound good, then use 4. Well, those are the 3 things you'd have: a limiter, a compressor, a maximizer if you need it. You may need something to uh, duck in and out of your plugins. So Mother Ducker is good for making it move the levels where they need to be to make space, because you know that, right? So you need to have space. The bass takes up a certain frequency. The keyboard take up a certain frequency. And whatever else you need in it takes up a certain frequency, and then you got to have some frequency space for your vocals. So yeah, you want to use the plugins in there that will save you some space to add some vocals. Last word of advice: make your beats where you got some space for your rappers and your singers to have space to rap and sing on. I learned that late in the game that I just it sounded good to me, so I sent it out. But then it gave no space for the rapper to rap. And a rapper told me that he was like, "Man, I like the beat, but I can't catch it." And the reason that they can't catch it is because they have no space to come in and create around what you already created. So if you go in and create space in your beat where they can kind of hear the skeleton, that's what he said. I need the skeleton bones. I need the beat and the skeleton bones so that I can come in and create around the skeleton bones. And I didn't understand it at first. Like, okay, so you want bare bones? He would tell me, I want bare bones so that I can rap on it. And then once I understood what he meant by bare bones, I was able to make songs specifically for him to be able to catch the beat and rap on it. Now, I don't do that. I don't do that for all my beats. You get what you get because now I make beats for YouTube content creators for your channels. So yeah, yeah, the voice is an instrument, no doubt. Thanks, Bass Levels, for that. You gotta leave space because the voice is an instrument, so you gotta leave space for the voice. Yeah. Um, nope. I don't got a travel setup. I don't travel. I don't travel much for beat making. I do everything I need to do in house. If I need to go make some beats to travel somewhere, you paying me a bag. I don't need that. I like to stay in the house and I can do everything I need to do from the house. If you can't email it to me or send me a video or text it to me or the need that you want or get on the phone and tell me the need you want, then yeah, that's dead in the water. I don't travel. But if I needed to travel, Khalif asked me this last night. If I needed to travel to make a beat in the studio somewhere, what would be what would be my weapon of choice? And I told him my weapon of choice to go travel somewhere would be the MPC Live 2 because it's standalone. I can take my hard drive, I can take my SD card. The hard drive is in it already, and I can create out the box. And I can take my laptop if I need to, hook up to my laptop, go in controller mode if I need to go, if I need to go super cyan and I needed to, you know, add some more plugins or do some more stuff in the computer, I got my laptop with me, and that will be my travel setup. My MacBook Pro and my MPC Live 2. They got a speaker on it, so that way, if I'm just in standalone mode and a producer want to hear the producer want to hear what I made on the MPC, I can just cut the speaker on. They can hear it right there. Oh yeah. See, my studio is out. My studio is separated from my house. So that's why I got 9 to 5. I come in here 9 to 5, do my work in the studio, and then I go to my house. So yeah. So again, appreciate each and every one of you. If I haven't mentioned you by name, hey, don't take that to heart. Um, Again, everybody that's been here, I appreciate you, man. Shout out to everybody. Um, and I thank you, and y'all catch me on the next live. And if you want to help a brother out, you can help me by sending a donation to my Cash App. It is $ first name LONZA MIVEY. That's just a recommendation, donation. If you want to, donations, 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 donations. If you want to help a brother out, that's my freaking Cash App. And if not, man, it's all good. Just being here, just you being here on the live, man, is enough for me, and I appreciate you. So thank you, and I'll catch y'all on the next go round. Peace out.